The rain begins as a faint whisper, a gentle pattering across the canvas above, as though the night is slowly exhaling. The sound settles you, soft and steady, like a natural lullaby that has traveled across countless generations of travelers who once slept beneath open skies. You sit inside a modest tent placed in a quiet clearing, surrounded by tall pines that sway in the wind, their movements barely visible except for the subtle rustling of needles. The air is cool and clean, carrying the earthy scent of damp soil and fresh rain, grounding you in a place that feels untouched and timeless. Each droplet rolls down the fabric of the tent with a long, soothing glide, and in that rhythm, the outside world grows distant, as if gently dissolving into the background. Nights like this have always carried a sense of duality, comfort intertwined with ancient curiosity. Long before satellites, airplanes, or distant city lights, people sat beneath star-filled skies and listened to the same kinds of storms, imagining what might lie beyond the clouds. Across centuries, storytellers, wanderers, and philosophers have felt this same quiet pull toward the unknown. Something about the darkness, and the rain strips away the noise of daily life, leaving only the soft question that humankind has whispered into the cosmos for thousands of years. What else is out there? Moments like this, wrapped in solitude and nature's gentle soundtrack, have sparked both wonder and introspection since the earliest civilizations recorded their dreams on stone and clay. As you breathe deeply, you become aware of the stillness between each rainfall cadence. These little pauses carry as much meaning as the sound itself. They leave space for your thoughts to drift, gently and without urgency, like leaves caught in a slow-moving stream. The light inside the tent glows faintly, warm and comforting, creating a soft cocoon around you. Beyond the fabric walls, the forest is dark yet peaceful. The occasional roll of thunder doesn't disturb the calm, it deepens it. Thunder in the distance is like the earth shifting in its sleep, reminding you that the natural world moves on its own patient timescale, far removed from hurried human schedules. There's something uniquely introspective about being sheltered from the rain while hearing it fall just inches away. It brings an instinctive sense of safety. You are close enough to nature to feel its presence, yet protected enough to observe it from a place of warmth and rest. This emotional space, where relaxation meets heightened awareness, creates an environment where thoughts become clearer, memories soften, and mysteries seem more approachable. It is in such moments that the mind opens to possibilities, not with fear, but with quiet fascination. The forest around you feels ancient, as if countless stories have unfolded beneath its branches. Perhaps travelers before you have sat by similar tents or campfires, listening to the rain and watching the sky for unusual lights. Perhaps they too felt that stirring sense of curiosity as storms rolled through, dimming the heavens just long enough to make any unexpected glow or movement stand out. There's a long tradition of people interpreting strange events in the sky during nights like these, moments when the world feels thinner, as though something just beyond everyday perception might slip through. Tonight, as the rain intensifies for a moment and then softens again, you feel that same subtle shift. The environment encourages reflection, inviting you to settle deeper into your sleeping bag and let your breathing slow. Each sound grows clearer. The trickle of water down a pine trunk, the rustle of leaves shaken by wind, the distant tap of raindrops hitting the rocky streambed somewhere outside your view. Nature weaves an intricate soundscape that gently loosens your thoughts and soothes your senses. It is easy to understand why so many cultures believed that nighttime storms were moments when the veil between worlds grew thin. Rain muffles familiar sounds, thunder masks distant noises, and darkness deepens every shadow. In this softened space, people throughout history have reported strange sights, strange feelings, and strange encounters. Not because they were seeking them, but because the quiet made them more perceptive, more attuned to subtle shifts, to faint glimmers, to the possibility that the world holds secrets just waiting to be noticed. Inside your tent, you feel safe enough to wonder. The steady vibration of rain atop the fabric becomes almost hypnotic, lulling you toward calmness. Your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm. The crackling tension people often associate with unexplained phenomena doesn't exist here. Instead, there is only gentle anticipation, the feeling that something profound could unfold not as a threat, but as an extension of nature's quiet mystery. The night isn't ominous, it's inviting. As you lie back and let your mind drift, the world outside feels endless, as though the forest stretches out into miles of untouched wilderness. Above you, hidden behind layers of cloud and falling rain, the sky holds billions of stars and possibilities. You cannot see them, but you can sense their presence the way sailors once did, trusting the unseen constellations to guide them. Your breathing aligns with the rhythm of the storm, and in that alignment, curiosity takes root, gentle, patient, and without urgency. The night deepens. The rain continues its soft, natural percussion, and as sleep begins to pull at your awareness, you find yourself open to whatever stories the storm might carry, whether they come from distant worlds, forgotten histories, or the quiet corners of your own imagination. For as long as humans have looked upward, the sky has been a canvas of questions. Even now, with modern cities, satellites, and advanced telescopes, the night sky still holds the same quiet power it did thousands of years ago. The rain outside your tent softens the forest into a gentle hush, and in that softened world, it becomes easier to imagine how ancient observers felt when they stood beneath the same dark expanse. They had no artificial light, no aircraft, no scientific vocabulary for atmospheric anomalies. Instead, they relied on instinct, imagination, and the belief that the sky was a realm where gods, spirits, and unknown intelligences moved freely. The boundary between the human world and the celestial one felt thin, just as it does in quiet nights like this. Many of the earliest records of strange aerial phenomena come from civilizations whose entire lives were shaped by the heavens. The Egyptians documented unusual fiery disks in the sky, describing them as bright, circular objects that appeared suddenly and moved in ways unlike natural weather. Babylonian astronomers tracked luminous events on clay tablets, trying to categorize each appearance as either an omen or a celestial visitor. In ancient China, court scholars wrote about long dragons of light weaving through clouds, sometimes appearing silently, other times accompanied by strange hums or vibrations. These cultures were meticulous observers. Their livelihoods depended on accurate sky tracking for calendars, rituals, and agricultural cycles. When they recorded something odd, it was because it truly stood out. In the Mediterranean world, Roman historians left behind curious accounts as well. Livy, known for his precision, described phantom ships gliding across the sky, luminous forms shaped like vessels, but sailing through the air with no visible means of support. Another chronicler wrote of a round object, bright and metallic-looking, streaking across the horizon before pausing in midair. These were not imaginative fantasies. They were observations noted by scholars, legislators, and generals, people whose role was to describe events objectively. Their writings reveal how even in highly structured societies, moments of mystery bled through the order of everyday life. As centuries passed, interpretations shifted. Medieval monks wrote about glowing wheels, spiraling lights, and radiant columns in the heavens. Some saw them as angelic signs, others as warnings. Their manuscripts, illustrated with painstaking detail, suggest genuine attempts to document what they witnessed. In many of these accounts, the descriptions echo modern sightings: hovering lights, sudden zigzag movements, or objects that shine intensely yet produce no heat or flames. It is remarkable how consistent these patterns are across eras, suggesting that people across time may have seen versions of the same unexplained phenomena. Psychologists who study ancient texts often point out that while cultural explanations varied, the raw observations remained strikingly similar. People did not describe things that matched birds, meteors, or conventional weather. Instead, they focused on objects that appeared structured, controlled, or intelligent in their movement. Yet because their worlds were saturated with mythological meaning, they interpreted the unknown through the lens available to them. Gods arriving in celestial chariots, ancestors guiding their descendants, or supernatural beings visiting the mortal realm. These interpretations were not naive, they were practical. Without modern science, ancient observers explained the extraordinary with the frameworks they had, just as we do now. Over time, humanity's relationship with the sky transitioned from spiritual to scientific. With the invention of early telescopes, natural philosophers began to challenge mythic explanations. Still, even as astronomy flourished, strange sightings did not disappear. Galileo himself wrote about unexpected flashes of light he could not identify. Later astronomers described luminous spheres drifting against the wind or lights that split apart and rejoined. The more we studied the sky, the more we realized its complexity, and the more we encountered anomalies that resisted neat categorization. Even as technology advanced, people continued to report mysterious objects, showing that unexplained aerial phenomena weren't merely products of ancient imagination. Instead, they form a continuous thread woven through human history. Across cultures, across continents, the sky has always offered glimpses of something beyond the mundane. Some of those sightings have been dismissed as misinterpretations of natural events, while others remain compelling and unresolved even by the standards of modern science. Tonight, with rain tapping softly on your tent and the trees forming a protective perimeter around you, it's easy to understand why humans across the ages felt drawn to these mysteries. There's something inherently introspective about listening to a storm while the world outside is dark and unbroken. It heightens awareness, just as ancient observers must have felt heightened when rare lights appeared in the heavens. In this calm atmosphere, you can almost imagine standing on a desert plain thousands of years ago, watching a strange glow drift silently across the stars, or in a medieval courtyard, staring at a shimmering wheel of light against a moonlit sky, or on an ancient hillside, recording the shape of a radiant sphere in meticulous symbols. History reminds us that encounters with the unexplained are not a modern sensation, but a timeless human experience. People long before our era felt the same mix of awe, confusion, and quiet wonder that emerges when the ordinary world momentarily reveals something unfamiliar. And while interpretations have evolved, from divine messengers to cosmic travelers, the core feeling has remained the same, the sense that we are witnessing something beyond ourselves, something that hints at a larger universe filled with possibilities. The rain outside deepens, its rhythm steady and thoughtful. As you listen, you become part of that long lineage of observers, people who found meaning in the sky, who noticed the extraordinary during silent nights, and who carried those mysteries with them long after the moment had passed. The modern era of UFO history began not with science fiction or popular culture, but with the intense uncertainty of global conflict. During World War II, pilots from both Allied and Axis forces reported strange, glowing spheres that seemed to follow their aircraft with silent precision. These objects came to be known as Foo Fighters, a nickname that hinted at how baffling they were. The glowing orbs often flew alongside bombers and fighters for long distances, maneuvering in ways that defied the known capabilities of any technology at the time. Some pilots thought they were secret enemy weapons. Others believed they were natural atmospheric phenomena, but most simply had no explanation at all. Military intelligence took notes, yet the confusion of war meant many reports were logged quietly and left unresolved. In the tense atmosphere of the 1940s, uncertainty was everywhere. New technologies, new weapons, and new scientific developments appeared regularly, each more advanced than the last. Radar systems were improving, aircraft were becoming faster, and nations were racing to dominate the skies. Amid that rapid technological evolution, it became harder to distinguish experimental aircraft from truly anomalous objects. Still, some sightings went far beyond anything human engineering could plausibly achieve. Pilots described objects accelerating instantly, changing direction with impossible sharpness, or maintaining perfect distance, no matter how fast the plane tried to outrun them. These characteristics would later appear in countless modern UFO reports, hinting that the phenomenon has remained surprisingly consistent. Then came 1947, a pivotal year that shifted public consciousness. A private pilot named Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 crescent-shaped objects flying in formation near Mount Rainier. He described their movement as skipping like saucers on water, a phrase the press quickly twisted into flying saucers. Although Arnold's description wasn't disc-like at all, the term captured the public imagination. Suddenly, newspapers were filled with headlines about mysterious aerial craft, and the idea of unknown visitors became a national fixation. Just weeks later, another event would cement UFOs into cultural memory: the incident near Roswell, New Mexico. Roswell began with a simple press release stating that the U.S. Army had recovered a flying disc from a ranch. Within a day, the story was retracted and replaced with an explanation involving a weather balloon. The contradictory statements, paired with the secrecy surrounding military operations in the region, fueled decades of speculation. While many of the claims associated with Roswell grew exaggerated over time, what remained undeniable was that something unusual had been found, and officials had struggled to explain it in a consistent manner. Later government programs and declassified documents would show that the U.S. was indeed testing high-security projects in the area, but they did not fully account for the initial statements or some eyewitness accounts. In response to the growing wave of sightings across the country, the U.S. Air Force launched a series of official investigations. Project Sign, established in 1948, was the first attempt to systematically collect and analyze UFO reports. Some members of the team believed the objects might be extraterrestrial, but their conclusions were never formally adopted. The project was replaced by Project Grudge, which approached the subject with skepticism, often attributing sightings to misidentifications, psychological factors, or hoaxes. Yet even Grudge encountered cases that could not be explained, involving trained observers like pilots and radar operators. By 1952, the Air Force introduced Project Blue Book, the most extensive and long-running investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena. Thousands of reports were cataloged and studied, with analysts attempting to categorize each case. While many were explained as weather events, aircraft, astronomical objects, or misperceptions, a small percentage remained unexplained despite thorough investigation. These unknowns often involved multiple witnesses or instrument readings that supported the visual sightings. The mere existence of unsolved cases within an official government investigation kept public interest alive. The Cold War added another layer of complexity. Both the United States and the Soviet Union were developing powerful aircraft, missiles, and surveillance tools. Programs were classified, misinformation was common, and airspace violations were treated with extreme seriousness. In this environment, any unidentified object became a potential threat or intelligence concern. Radar operators frequently detected fast-moving targets that did not match known aircraft signatures. Some of these incidents were dismissed as equipment errors, yet others were corroborated by visual sightings. The tension of the era made it difficult to separate potential enemy technology from something genuinely unknown. Many historians believe this mixture of secrecy, rapid technological advancement, and global anxiety created the perfect conditions for UFO interest to flourish. Reports increased not because people suddenly became more imaginative, but because more people were watching the skies. Radar technicians, pilots, military scouts, and civilians fascinated by the dawning space age. Jet engines, rockets, and satellites changed the sky dramatically, making it both more familiar and more mysterious at the same time. Yet even as human craft evolved, there remained sightings that did not align with any known design or behavior. Inside your tent tonight, as the rain taps softly and the forest absorbs the sound, it is easy to understand how people living through these turbulent decades felt a blend of curiosity and quiet unease. They looked up and saw not only stars, but symbols of power, possibility, and sometimes danger. The sky became a stage on which both earthly and unearthly mysteries played out. The unidentified objects seen during these years were not shaped by folklore or ancient myth. They were observed by trained professionals operating in some of the most intense and technologically transformative periods in history. Their testimonies laid the foundation for the modern era of UFO investigation, an era defined not by superstition, but by documented encounters, official reports, and unanswered questions that still echo today. The accounts of those who have seen unidentified aerial phenomena are often more consistent than one might expect. Pilots, police officers, and ordinary citizens describe encounters in remarkably similar terms. Lights moving against the wind, objects hovering silently, sudden accelerations that defy conventional physics. In many cases, witnesses describe a sense of calm curiosity rather than fear, as if their attention has been drawn by something fascinating rather than threatening. Psychologists studying eyewitness testimony note that while memory can be fallible, multiple independent witnesses reporting the same event often provide corroborating details that are difficult to dismiss. In quiet nighttime conditions, the same kind that surround your tent, the mind's perception is heightened, making every subtle movement or light stand out with extraordinary clarity. One of the more famous early cases involved commercial airline pilots who reported seeing disc-shaped lights performing maneuvers that no known aircraft could replicate. They described sudden stops, abrupt changes in direction, and incredible speeds, all while maintaining an almost intelligent awareness of their surroundings. Radar operators in some cases confirmed these sightings, detecting objects that moved independently of conventional aircraft traffic. These dual confirmation reports, where both human and instrument perception align, carry significant weight in the study of unexplained phenomena. They suggest that at least some encounters are not the result of misidentification or imagination, but rather involve real objects performing in ways that remain puzzling to modern science. Beyond professionals, countless civilian accounts share similar patterns. People camping in remote areas often describe lights appearing above tree lines or hovering silently over fields. Some note subtle vibrations or low-frequency hums, sensations that are fleeting but memorable. Even the simplest details, the intensity of a glow, the way light reflects off nearby surfaces, the quiet hum of something unseen, can make a lasting impression. What makes these accounts especially compelling is their consistency across cultures, eras, and geography. Observers separated by decades or continents frequently describe phenomena that are nearly identical in motion, shape, and behavior. Psychologists also examine the cognitive and emotional elements of eyewitness experiences. Being alone in a quiet, dark environment increases the brain's sensitivity to stimuli. The auditory cortex becomes more alert, peripheral vision sharpens, and the mind begins to notice subtleties it might otherwise ignore. In such conditions, even familiar objects or atmospheric effects can seem extraordinary, but trained observers often describe experiences that exceed these explanations. When multiple trained witnesses independently report anomalous events, especially under conditions of low visibility, high stress, or surprise, their descriptions suggest that something genuinely unaccounted for has occurred. There are also physical traces, in some cases, that add to credibility. Objects observed hovering close to the ground have occasionally left impressions on grass or soil, disturbed vegetation, or even electromagnetic anomalies detected in nearby equipment. These traces are rare, but they align with the timing of sightings, reinforcing the notion that some encounters involve tangible, physical phenomena. Even when no traces remain, the precision and consistency of detailed accounts create a pattern that is difficult to ignore. Across decades of investigation, researchers have found recurring themes: sudden appearance and disappearance, rapid directional changes, silent hovering, and intelligent movement. Each detail contributes to a broader understanding, even if the overall picture remains mysterious. Many witnesses also report subtle physiological or psychological effects during encounters. A quiet sense of awe, tingling sensations, or heightened awareness often accompanies these experiences. Some describe feelings of timelessness or altered perception, as though the event temporarily shifted their sense of reality. Researchers suggest that such responses are natural in highly unusual, low-probability situations, but they also serve to highlight how profoundly such encounters can impact the mind. Even long after the sighting, memories remain vivid, often recalled with the same detail and clarity as on the night of the event. It is as if the brain preserves these anomalies because they challenge ordinary expectations, imprinting them with significance. The consistency of these accounts across different observers and contexts is striking. Whether it is a lone camper in a remote forest, a military pilot at high altitude, or a small-town police officer responding to unusual lights, the core elements of motion, luminosity, and intelligence remain consistent. Researchers argue that this pattern suggests something beyond misperception or hoaxes. It does not provide definitive answers, but it does indicate that unexplained aerial phenomena form a coherent category of experience, worthy of serious study. While skeptics point to psychological and environmental factors, the convergence of independent observations continues to challenge conventional explanations. As you listen to the rain on your tent tonight, the environment mirrors the conditions in which many eyewitnesses have experienced their encounters. Quiet, isolated, and attentive. Each patter of raindrops, each faint rustle of leaves, becomes a reminder of the way human perception sharpens in stillness. The forest surrounds you in protective darkness, encouraging observation and reflection. In this calm space, it is easy to imagine the sudden appearance of an object that moves with deliberate intelligence, its lights shimmering like distant stars. The mind, relaxed yet alert, becomes a perfect vessel for subtle mysteries, able to notice patterns and inconsistencies that escape everyday attention. These stories, while often shared in hushed tones or recorded with clinical precision, also carry a timeless human element, the wonder of encountering the unknown. Observers rarely feel terror. More often, they report fascination, curiosity, and a quiet sense of connection to something larger than themselves. There is a strange intimacy in these experiences, a feeling that the universe is vast, intelligent, and unpredictable. Even when events remain unexplained, the very act of witnessing, of being present and alert in the right moment, connects the observer to a lineage of humans who have, for centuries, looked up at the sky and felt the same quiet pull of mystery. The involvement of governments in the study of unidentified aerial phenomena has always added a layer of both credibility and mystery. From the earliest official investigations, it was clear that authorities treated these sightings seriously, even if public statements often downplayed their significance. In the United States, for example, the military's early post-war projects sought to catalog and analyze every reported anomaly in the skies. Project Sign, launched in 1948, aimed to determine whether these objects posed a national security threat. Some analysts within the project suggested that certain sightings could be evidence of technology beyond Earth, though their conclusions were never formally endorsed. This cautious approach reflects the tension between documenting genuine anomalies and managing public reaction in an era of emerging nuclear and aerial capabilities. Soon after, Project Grudge took over with a distinctly skeptical approach. Analysts attributed many reports to misperceptions, hoaxes, or natural phenomena. Yet even Grudge investigators encountered incidents that could not be easily explained. Radar operators reported fast-moving targets that appeared and disappeared inexplicably. Pilots described craft maneuvering in ways that defied known aerodynamics. The project ultimately highlighted the difficulty of balancing public reassurance with the acknowledgement of truly anomalous events. Historians note that such cautious handling was typical of the early Cold War years, when secrecy was necessary to protect both national security and sensitive military research. By the early 1950s, Project Blue Book became the most prominent and long-lasting governmental effort to investigate UFOs. Over its two-decade lifespan, the project collected thousands of reports from across the United States, ranging from fleeting lights in the sky to detailed accounts from trained observers. Analysts attempted to classify each sighting, separating the explained from weather balloons and astronomical events to those that remained unexplained. Interestingly, a significant number of the unexplained cases involved multiple witnesses, sometimes with corroboration from radar or photographic evidence. These cases challenge conventional explanations, showing that even under rigorous scientific scrutiny, certain phenomena resisted categorization. Government documents also reveal the complexity of dealing with conflicting information. Early press releases often contained inconsistencies, as seen in the Roswell incident. Initial reports described the recovery of a flying disc, only to be quickly replaced with explanations involving weather balloons. Such discrepancies fueled decades of speculation and mistrust, illustrating the delicate balance officials attempted between transparency and security. Declassified memos later revealed that the military had conducted extensive testing of classified aircraft in the region, which may have contributed to some sightings. Yet these revelations do not fully account for the variety of independent reports or the experiences of credible witnesses, leaving an enduring sense of mystery. The role of the Cold War cannot be underestimated. Both the United States and the Soviet Union were developing high-speed aircraft, advanced radar systems, and surveillance technologies. In such a context, any unidentified object was treated with extreme caution. Radar operators and pilots were trained to report anything unusual, knowing that it could represent either a security threat or a previously unknown natural phenomenon. This environment of heightened vigilance led to detailed record-keeping, which has proven invaluable to modern researchers studying historical sightings. In some instances, encounters that were initially dismissed as errors later gained credibility when analyzed alongside other independent reports. Government studies also reveal an evolution in terminology and approach. While early investigations focused heavily on national security, later efforts adopted a more scientific framing. Analysts increasingly acknowledged that a subset of sightings remained unexplained despite rigorous analysis. In the 1960s, the Condon Report, led by physicist Edward Condon, concluded that while most sightings could be explained, a small percentage defied conventional reasoning. This acknowledgement lent the phenomenon a degree of legitimacy that popular media and civilian reports had long suggested, creating a bridge between anecdotal accounts and formal study. Even in contemporary times, the involvement of official agencies continues to validate the phenomenon. Pentagon reports and recent acknowledgments of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, by military personnel demonstrate that governments are still actively observing and analyzing anomalous aerial activity. While some details remain classified for security reasons, public statements confirm that certain incidents remain unexplained despite the availability of sophisticated sensors and experienced observers. The ongoing discussion emphasizes that ambiguity in official reports does not necessarily imply fabrication. Rather, it reflects the genuine difficulty of interpreting complex, rare events in real time. The interplay between secrecy, analysis, and public perception has had a lasting impact on both culture and understanding. Researchers and historians note that contradictory statements often fueled speculation, creating the fertile ground for conspiracy theories and popular fascination. Yet within this tension lies a deeper truth. Governments have collected extensive evidence, conducted systematic investigations, and often struggled to explain what they observed. The unresolved cases, combined with rigorous documentation, contribute to a persistent sense of credibility that distinguishes serious study from rumor or myth. Tonight, as you listen to the rain tapping softly against the tent, it is easy to imagine the quiet rooms where analysts once pored over reports, examining radar screens and handwritten witness statements. The atmosphere was tense but methodical, a careful balance between curiosity and caution. Like the rain outside, these investigations unfolded slowly, with long pauses of uncertainty punctuated by flashes of insight. The meticulous record-keeping, the cautious conclusions, and the rare unsolved cases all create a narrative that is both grounded and mysterious, a story that invites reflection and contemplation as you drift into the calm embrace of the night. As the study of unidentified aerial phenomena evolved, so did the range of theories attempting to explain the strange sightings and encounters that seemed to defy the known laws of physics. Some theories leaned on the idea of extraterrestrial visitation, suggesting that these objects were craft from distant planets or galaxies, their purpose either exploratory or more elusive. For decades, this theory remained the most popular, especially in the public imagination. Science fiction novels, films, and later, documentaries painted an image of intelligent beings traveling vast distances to observe or interact with humanity. Astronomers like Carl Sagan, who once famously said that the odds of life existing elsewhere in the universe were high, provided a scientific backdrop to the idea that humanity might not be alone. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, became a serious scientific endeavor, using radio telescopes to listen for signals from distant civilizations, all while UFO sightings continued to add fuel to the fire of speculation. Yet, while the extraterrestrial hypothesis dominated much of the conversation, other theories began to emerge. One such theory, which gained traction among some physicists and fringe researchers, was the idea of interdimensional beings. This theory suggested that UFOs could be originating not from another planet, but from an entirely different dimension or parallel universe. Proponents of this idea argued that the strange behaviors of these objects, such as their sudden acceleration, ability to stop on a dime, and apparent ability to phase in and out of visibility, could be explained if these crafts were shifting between dimensions. Such a concept fits within the framework of modern physics, particularly quantum mechanics, which suggests the possibility of multiple dimensions existing simultaneously with our own. Theories such as string theory, which postulates the existence of extra dimensions beyond the observable three, made this idea seem somewhat plausible to certain scientific minds. In this view, UFOs might not be space travelers at all, but visitors from another reality, their technology operating on principles far beyond our understanding. Another angle was that UFOs might represent time travelers from the future. This theory proposed that beings from humanity's distant future, equipped with advanced technology, were traveling back in time to observe or interact with their past. Such a theory draws from the idea of time as a flexible, malleable dimension, much like space. It speculates that in the distant future, human civilization might develop technologies that allow them to manipulate time itself, much in the same way that today we manipulate space with airplanes and satellites. While this theory leans heavily on speculative science, it's intriguing to consider the implications. Could these advanced travelers be looking at us, studying our past for clues about how to avoid the mistakes of their own time? Or perhaps they are interacting with us in ways that are not immediately perceptible, subtly influencing our history, without revealing their presence? Then there are the more unconventional ideas that stretch the boundaries of conventional science. Some theorists have suggested that UFOs could be manifestations of human consciousness itself, a kind of collective psychic phenomenon. According to this view, UFO sightings might not involve physical objects at all, but are instead projections of the mind, an exploration of the hidden recesses of human thought and belief. Proponents of this theory argue that many sightings occur during periods of heightened social or psychological stress, such as during times of war or societal upheaval, and that the objects seen are shaped by collective anxieties or desires. This theory leans into ideas of the mind as a powerful force capable of shaping reality in ways we don't fully understand. Some psychologists who study the phenomenon have suggested that these sightings could be the result of groupthink, where multiple individuals, influenced by shared cultural narratives or media representations, begin to perceive similar things even though they may not be physically present. There's also the theory that UFOs are somehow related to natural phenomena that we don't yet fully understand, something akin to ball lightning, atmospheric plasma, or other atmospheric electrical phenomena. The idea here is that what people are seeing in the sky might not be extraterrestrial ships or interdimensional travelers, but rather rare, natural occurrences that occur under certain conditions. Ball lightning, for example, is a phenomenon where a glowing sphere of light is seen floating in the air, sometimes even passing through windows or doors, and often behaving in strange ways. Scientists who study atmospheric electricity have proposed that UFO sightings could be attributed to plasma phenomena, electrical charges that behave like solid objects, but are actually just ionized gases. These explanations are grounded in observable science, but they still leave many questions unanswered, especially when it comes to the behavior of these phenomena, which often appear to exhibit intelligence in their movement. And then, of course, there are those who propose more radical or fringe explanations, such as the idea that UFOs could be a form of energy that has yet to be fully understood. Some theorists have suggested that UFOs are actually manifestations of a higher dimensional energy, or even beings composed entirely of light or electromagnetic fields. This theory posits that these objects are not physical in the traditional sense, but instead exist on a different frequency or vibration that is imperceptible to our senses. In this view, UFOs would be examples of a kind of unknown energy, able to manipulate physical space-time and appear as solid objects when necessary, yet remain undetectable by conventional means. This concept, while speculative, highlights the vastness of what remains unexplored in both the realms of physics and human perception. The rain outside continues its rhythmic tapping, creating a soothing backdrop for such deep contemplation. The idea that the strange lights in the sky might be something beyond our understanding of the physical universe becomes more tangible in moments like these, when the world feels quiet and open to possibility. These theories, no matter how outlandish they might seem, represent our attempt to make sense of a mystery that has persisted for centuries. From ancient visions of gods descending from the heavens to modern accounts of flying saucers and glowing orbs, the search for answers is a deeply human endeavor. Whether we look to the stars for extraterrestrial life, peer into the realms of quantum physics and parallel worlds, or explore the hidden corners of our own consciousness, the quest for understanding continues. The unknown, as it always has, calls to us, inviting us to reach beyond what we know and into what we cannot yet comprehend. As the study of UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena has progressed, it's become clear that their impact on culture has been profound. While many might dismiss UFO sightings as mere curiosities or anomalies, the cultural influence they've had is undeniable. The concept of aliens, extraterrestrial intelligence, and advanced spacecraft has permeated nearly every aspect of modern society, from movies and television to literature, music, and art. But what is it about these mysterious objects in the sky that captivates the human imagination so deeply? Historically, the UFO phenomenon seems to have emerged in the collective consciousness during a time of rapid technological and social change. The 1940s and 1950s, when UFO sightings became particularly prominent, were periods of great transformation. The Second World War had introduced new weapons and technologies that changed the course of history, while the dawning of the space age suggested that humanity might soon leave the confines of Earth. The idea that there could be other civilizations, potentially more advanced than ours, appeared not only plausible but tantalizing. People were coming to terms with the idea that Earth might not be the only planet capable of supporting life. This realization opened the door to an entirely new genre of storytelling, one that explored the possibility of contact with beings from other worlds. In the decades that followed, UFOs became a staple of science fiction, a genre that was already gaining popularity in literature and film. Movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, captured the public's fascination with alien life and the potential for peaceful or confrontational encounters. These films and many others reflected a growing sense of wonder and fear about what might exist beyond the stars. The trope of extraterrestrial visitation became symbolic of the hopes and anxieties of the times. Hope for new forms of knowledge and understanding, but also fear of the unknown and the potential for conflict with powers far beyond our own. The cultural fascination with UFOs didn't stop at the cinema. The 1970s and 1980s saw a rise in the popularity of UFO conspiracy theories, with people questioning the motives of governments and institutions. The idea that governments were concealing evidence of extraterrestrial contact gave rise to a new genre of investigative journalism and public interest in covert operations. Books like Chariots of the Gods by Eric von Daniken proposed that ancient civilizations may have had contact with extraterrestrials, and many people began to see UFOs not as modern phenomena, but as part of a long history of alien encounters. This shift from seeing UFOs as a contemporary mystery to a historical one further deepened their cultural significance. Suddenly, UFOs weren't just mysterious objects in the sky. They were linked to ancient myths, religious beliefs, and the uncharted history of humankind. Even in modern times, the cultural influence of UFOs remains strong. In the age of the internet and social media, UFO sightings are more accessible than ever. Videos and photos of mysterious lights and objects are shared instantly across platforms, with discussions ranging from scientific inquiries to outlandish conspiracy theories. This democratization of information means that anyone with a camera and an internet connection can become a part of the larger conversation about UFOs, contributing to the ongoing speculation and fascination with these phenomena. This interconnectedness has also made it harder to dismiss sightings as isolated incidents or anomalies. Instead, they become part of a global dialogue that spans cultures, languages, and belief systems. UFO sightings have also influenced how people perceive science, government, and the unknown. When credible individuals like military personnel, pilots, or government officials report sightings, it challenges our understanding of what is possible and forces us to rethink the limits of our knowledge. In the past few years, for example, the U.S. government has released previously classified videos and documents showing encounters between military personnel and unidentified aerial objects. This disclosure has reignited public interest in the subject, pushing it beyond the realm of fringe conspiracy theorists and into the mainstream. The shift from secrecy to transparency has led to a re-evaluation of what constitutes credible evidence in the study of UFOs and has opened up new avenues for both official investigation and public exploration of the phenomenon. The cultural impact of UFOs also extends into the realm of spirituality and philosophy. Some people view UFO encounters not as a mere physical phenomenon, but as a spiritual awakening, a sign of humanity's place in the broader universe. The idea that we are not alone, that there may be other forms of intelligent life out there, challenges traditional religious and philosophical views about human exceptionalism. For some, the possibility of alien life raises profound questions about the nature of existence, the meaning of life, and our relationship to the cosmos. Could contact with extraterrestrial intelligence help solve some of humanity's most pressing problems, such as war, poverty, or environmental degradation? Or could it push us into an era of existential anxiety, forcing us to confront our own place in the universe? At the same time, the popularization of UFOs in media and culture has created a paradoxical effect. While it has generated interest and curiosity about the unknown, it has also led to skepticism and mockery. The portrayal of UFOs in movies, television shows, and tabloids has often been sensationalized, turning them into objects of ridicule. The little green men trope and the image of the flying saucer have become so ingrained in popular culture that it can be difficult for people to take serious investigations or credible reports seriously. This blending of fact and fiction has created a cultural landscape where truth and entertainment often collide, making it hard to separate genuine inquiry from sensationalized fiction. Even so, the mystery of UFOs continues to draw attention, and the questions remain. What are these objects in the sky? Are they from another planet, another dimension, or another time? Are they a product of human imagination or an undiscovered natural phenomenon? The desire for answers persists, fueled by the cultural mythology that surround them, as well as the very real possibility that we are not alone in the universe. Whether one believes in UFOs or not, the impact they have had on our collective imagination is undeniable. They have changed how we view the universe, our place within it, and our ongoing search for answers in the darkness above. As the study of UFOs and other unexplained phenomena continues to evolve, so too does the approach to understanding these mysterious events. In recent years, new investigations, advances in technology, and a shift in public and governmental attitudes have transformed the way UFOs are perceived. What was once a fringe topic relegated to late-night conspiracy theorists and science fiction enthusiasts has now become a subject of serious inquiry, particularly among military and scientific communities. This shift in focus has led to a reassessment of many long-held assumptions about UFOs, pushing the boundaries of what is considered plausible and what remains unknowable. One of the most significant developments in the modern investigation of UFOs is the role of government transparency. In 2020, the U.S. Department of Defense established the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, UAP Task Force, an initiative designed to investigate and analyze UFO sightings, particularly those reported by military personnel. This acknowledgement of UAPs as a legitimate area of study has legitimized the phenomenon in ways that earlier official responses did not. The release of declassified videos showing military pilots encountering objects exhibiting flight characteristics beyond the capabilities of known aircraft has fueled widespread interest. These videos, along with the testimony of trained professionals, have challenged long-standing assumptions about the nature of UFOs. What was once considered alien now seems more like an unknown, unexplained reality that requires further investigation. The government's willingness to take these phenomena seriously, rather than dismiss them outright, has encouraged both scholars and the general public to reconsider what these objects might be. This renewed focus on UFOs has also been accompanied by a shift in how scientists and researchers approach the subject. While early investigations into UFOs were often dismissive or based on the assumption that these phenomena were merely misidentifications or hoaxes, modern studies are increasingly open to the possibility that UFOs represent something far more complex. Advances in technology have made it possible to capture more detailed evidence of these phenomena. High-definition cameras, infrared imaging, and sophisticated radar systems have allowed observers to record UFOs in ways that were previously impossible. These technological advances have made it easier to analyze UFOs and identify patterns or inconsistencies that might otherwise have gone unnoticed. The use of cutting-edge technology has brought a new level of rigor to the study of UFOs, making it a more data-driven field of inquiry. Scientists are now able to study UFOs through a combination of direct observation, physical evidence, and statistical analysis, which has lent the phenomenon a greater sense of credibility. In addition to technological advances, the cultural climate has also changed. The stigma that once surrounded UFO sightings and their investigators has begun to fade. People who might have been reluctant to report their experiences for fear of ridicule or disbelief are now more willing to come forward, especially as high-profile figures such as former U.S. senators and respected scientists have spoken out on the matter. The high-profile release of government documents, including the Pentagon's acknowledgement of UAPs, has contributed to a shift in public opinion, making it easier for people to discuss these phenomena without fear of being branded as crazy or paranoid. As UFO sightings and investigations become more mainstream, the level of skepticism about the phenomenon has decreased, allowing for a more open and honest discussion. This cultural shift also extends to the world of academia. While there has historically been a reluctance within scientific communities to engage with the UFO phenomenon, recent events have led to a growing interest in the subject. Universities and research institutions are increasingly offering courses and conducting studies on UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and related topics. This interest is not just academic. It reflects a genuine desire to understand the unexplained phenomena that continue to capture human attention. The increasing number of peer-reviewed studies and publications focused on UFOs and related subjects is a testament to how far the field has come in terms of credibility. No longer seen as a fringe subject, the study of UFOs is slowly becoming a legitimate academic pursuit, supported by a growing body of evidence and inquiry. As the investigation into UFOs grows, the focus has also shifted toward understanding their potential implications for human society. The possibility that we are not alone in the universe raises profound questions about our place in the cosmos. How would the discovery of extraterrestrial life change our understanding of existence? How would it impact religious beliefs, social structures, and our understanding of the universe? The implications are vast, and yet many people are beginning to accept that the answers might not be as far away as once thought. If UFOs are indeed evidence of extraterrestrial life or advanced technology, their presence could prompt humanity to reconsider its role in the grand scheme of the cosmos. Furthermore, modern investigations into UFOs also open the door to the possibility of more profound and unexpected discoveries. Some researchers suggest that the study of UFOs could lead to breakthroughs in physics, technology, and even our understanding of consciousness. The way in which some UFOs behave, accelerating to incredible speeds, stopping instantly, or even seemingly defying the laws of physics, suggests that there may be principles of science that we have yet to discover or fully understand. For example, the phenomenon of anti-gravity or the manipulation of space-time could potentially be unlocked by studying these mysterious objects, leading to advancements that could change the course of human history. If these UFOs are indeed vehicles from other worlds, their technology could hold the key to new forms of energy, propulsion, and interstellar travel. Such discoveries could redefine human potential and open up new frontiers for exploration, both within our solar system and beyond. As the investigation into UFOs continues to evolve, so too does our understanding of the mystery itself. The rain falling softly outside your tent, a natural rhythm echoing through the trees, serves as a gentle reminder of the mysteries that still remain in the world around us. The unanswered questions about UFOs are but one piece of a much larger puzzle, one that spans the realms of science, philosophy, and human curiosity. The quiet stillness of the night, paired with the possibility of the unknown, invites us to continue seeking, wondering, and exploring. And as we do, perhaps we will uncover truths that have eluded us for centuries, truths that will forever change how we view the universe and our place within it. As you lie in your tent, the soft and rhythmic tapping of the rain creates a peaceful atmosphere that mirrors the sense of mystery and calm that surrounds the question of UFOs. The phenomenon of unexplained aerial objects has continued to intrigue humanity for decades. But what do these mysteries ultimately teach us? As the search for answers to these enigmatic sightings evolves, so too does the reflection on what they signify for the future, both in terms of scientific discovery and the way in which we view the universe. The mysteries of UFOs, much like the rain outside your tent, persist not as clear answers, but as persistent, recurring elements in human experience. They raise questions not only about the nature of the phenomenon itself, but about our place in a much larger, uncharted cosmos. The UFO phenomenon offers us a unique lens through which we can examine our understanding of the unknown. As we explore the evidence and theories, we are faced with a broader question of what constitutes knowledge and how we approach the limits of our perception. Much like the rain which, though falling gently, shapes the environment around you, the UFO mystery quietly shifts the way we think about our world. It forces us to confront the limitations of current scientific models and suggests that there is much more to discover, much more that eludes even our most advanced technology. Every unexplained encounter serves as a reminder of how vast and mysterious the universe is, and how little we truly know about the forces that shape it. At its core, the UFO phenomenon challenges the very notion of certainty. For centuries, humanity has sought to understand the universe through the lens of science, technology, and exploration. Yet UFO sightings continue to present phenomena that resist easy explanation, defying even the most sophisticated instruments and analysis. This resistance to understanding has led to a shift in how people perceive knowledge and discovery. No longer can we assume that everything in the universe is explainable with the tools at our disposal, or that we have fully explored every possibility. In a way, UFOs are a humbling reminder of the limits of human knowledge. Despite our technological advances, there remain phenomena that elude even the most detailed observations and hypotheses, suggesting that the universe still holds many secrets beyond our reach. There's also a growing sense that the UFO mystery speaks to something deeper within us as human beings. The allure of the unknown is a fundamental part of the human condition. We have always looked to the stars, wondered what lies beyond our planet, and dreamed of what we might encounter if we ever reach out into the void. UFOs, in this sense, symbolize not just the potential for extraterrestrial life, but the very essence of curiosity itself. They are a manifestation of our collective desire to understand the universe, to uncover the unknown, and to see beyond the confines of what we know. The mystery is not simply about the objects we see in the sky, but about what they represent. the possibilities that lie beyond our grasp, the potential for discoveries that will fundamentally alter our understanding of reality. This drive for understanding is at the heart of human exploration. For centuries, we have ventured into the unknown, whether by sea, land, or space. The exploration of the skies is perhaps the next frontier in that long history. Yet, the UFO phenomenon adds a layer of complexity to that exploration. While humanity has made remarkable progress in space exploration, we are still far from understanding the full scope of what lies beyond our planet. UFOs remind us that there may be more to the universe than we can currently perceive, and that our understanding of space and time is still in its infancy. The notion that there could be intelligent life elsewhere in the universe, or even that some UFOs might be extraterrestrial visitors, encourages us to expand our thinking beyond what we have already discovered. It invites us to consider new paradigms, new scientific theories, and new ways of thinking about the cosmos. Moreover, the ongoing investigation into UFOs also challenges us to rethink our cultural assumptions. The cultural significance of UFOs has evolved alongside the development of human understanding of the universe. While UFOs were once associated with fringe beliefs or sensationalist media, they are now part of mainstream scientific discourse. Governments, military agencies, and research institutions are actively involved in the study of these phenomena. As more credible witnesses, including military personnel and government officials, come forward with their encounters, the phenomenon is being taken more seriously, and public attitudes are shifting. This cultural shift reflects a broader change in how society views the unknown. It is no longer dismissed as fantasy or conspiracy, but recognized as a legitimate area of inquiry. The way we engage with the UFO phenomenon now reveals a willingness to confront the mysteries of the universe with open minds, without dismissing what we do not yet understand. Despite the growing acceptance of UFOs as a subject worthy of study, there is still much that remains unclear. As the mystery of UFOs continues to unfold, it leaves us with more questions than answers, yet it also connects us to something deeper, the unyielding human desire to understand the unknown. The rain tapping gently against your tent is a subtle reminder that, just like the quiet presence of these mysterious aerial phenomena, there are forces in the universe that remain just beyond our grasp. The stories, the theories, the investigations, they all point toward one undeniable truth. The quest for knowledge is a never-ending journey. While we may never fully understand what UFOs truly are, their existence, in whatever form it may take, compels us to keep searching, keep questioning, and keep exploring. Each unanswered question sparks new curiosity, urging us to look at the sky, at the universe, with fresh eyes. And just like that moment of stillness under the rain, the pursuit of the unknown offers a peace in knowing that the mystery is not something to be solved in an instant, but something that enriches the human experience, pushing us to reflect, to wonder, and to imagine. The story of UFOs is one that will continue to unfold, just like the rain outside, soft, persistent, and filled with possibilities, waiting for us to pay attention and embrace the mysteries that surround us.